Okay, everybody, welcome back. We kicked off with laughing in this room. In case you missed it, you'll get a chance to listen to it again. And now we will be talking about emotions. Now, all of you work with people, for some fortunately, for some unfortunately, but we are all emotional humans. So we need to learn how to deal with the good ones and the bad ones. And that's why we have Pilar here. Please welcome Pilar.
Thank you. Well, a warm good morning to everybody. My name is Pilar, and I'm originally from France, but I've been living for the last 20 years here in Croatia. I'm now a business executive trainer coach, and before that I had a corporate life, and I was for a long time dealing with sales and customer relationship management. And when I was invited to come to speak here today, it was actually a bit surprising because I'm not at all from this industry. And we thought that there might be a nice way how to build on what I do with what you guys do or what you're interested in. So it's going to be a kind of a different way of doing things today. And so I'd like you to be a bit playful. And there's going to be interaction, so I'm going to be breaking the setup of this room in a moment. And you're going to be doing things in pairs for a little while. So when we think about emotional drivers, the first question for you is to think about what emotions do you bring with you to do your job? What's important for you to feel in order to be successful? What do you need to feel in order for your team and your people to feel what you want them to feel? How curious and caring are you about what your team, customers, clients, people, friends, family actually feel? How much can you pick on the signals? So checking how much there is a match between how people appear, how they feel, how much they share, how they feel. And the tendency of labeling in terms of, I know what you feel, and actually not really knowing what people feel. And all this is basically in the perspective of sales and in the perspective of customer relationship management, very important. There's a quote from Maya Angelou which goes something like, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So instead of speaking too much, I would like to actually use this time today to make you feel some things and to kind of put the spotlight onto you so that you become aware of what you want to feel more of in order to do what you need to set yourselves out to do, and what you might want to feel less of because it might be getting in your way. And to do that, we're going to start with, just for yourselves, to set yourself an intention. So we're not yet completely at the end of the year, but we're getting close to it. And it's usually a nice time to kind of look back at what we've done and what has happened in our career or in our personal lives. And if you would collect this set of things that have happened, what is maybe one intention that you would like to bring more of to your customers, to your clients? So you guys are mainly, I'm guessing, from the B2B environment. And so thinking from that perspective, what is it that you want to set yourselves out to be more intentional about in service of success, in service of whatever it is that you would want to name? So that's for you to check a little bit. And you're going to keep this intention alive in your eyes, mind. And what I'm going to be asking you to do now is to pick a card. And these are going to be random cards. They're cards with pictures. And you're not going to be seeing the pictures. On the cards, there's also a word. And what I'm going to ask you is, when you're going to pick up the card, is that you kind of put your thumb at the bottom. So the card's going to be like this. You're going to pick it. kind of put your thumb at the bottom so you don't immediately see the word. So we're doing this exercise kind of to leave the rational world and to dive in to the emotional world. So we're going to try and connect to images. And this is a tool that I use a lot in coaching, and it's for very rational, corporate-driven people to set aside that brain, to put the brain a bit into snooze, and to wake up the emotional side. So I'm going to, I guess, walk around, even though the guys told me I shouldn't be walking too much, but otherwise I can give the pack of cards. Would that work better for camera purposes, that I still stay here? Will you do that for me? There you go. So you just give them the cards and they pick one. So you pick one card, and I need to highlight that these cards are neither good nor bad. It's the sense that you're going to be making out of it. And that's the same thing with emotions. We have a tendency of saying that emotions are good or bad, but emotions are emotions. It's what we make out of them that will create the fact that we're going to label them as either serving us or not serving us, meaning of being positive or negative. But as such, an emotion is simply an emotion. So once you have your card, and we're going to give it a little second that our hostess comes around, you have this card, and once again, it's important that you keep in mind that it's neither good nor bad, it's what you make of it. Just notice when you're going to look at it eventually, is it disturbing? How does it feel when you look at the picture? What sense do you make of what is on it? And then just notice that it's a picture that was taken at one specific moment. And then something happened before that, and also something happened after that. So this is just a freeze in the moment, which is actually very rare, because we are never, ever in a moment. We're here now, and the second after, it's already a new moment. So this is about the emotions, about how you feel, and what's coming up. And what we're going to do now, so just to check that everybody has a card, when you do have your card, feel free to look at the card, try and hide the word for a second, and make sense of what you got on the card. And we're going to work on a question, and you're going to be working in pairs. And ideally, you work with somebody that you don't really know. If you are coming with somebody that you are close to, I would invite you to hook up with somebody else. So on this card, you have a picture that was taken in a tea time. And my invitation for you is to answer to the question, what's really working well for me? So in your professional environment, in your business, what are you really happy with? What's really working well for you? And you're invited to answer to this question from the card, meaning, what are you seeing on the card, and how can you connect, make sense of it, to what's working well for you today? And then you can look at the word and maybe make sense of that in terms of, okay, how does this word connect to the picture? Do I feel closer to making sense of anything out of it from the word? Or I'm okay to make sense of this from the picture? And I'm going to ask you now to be moving. So to find a pair, and I don't know how many we are, let's see if we can make it work in twos. So you're going to be sitting either next to each other or face to face to each other. And if you don't know each other, which is the idea of the exercise today, is to meet up with somebody you don't know, in twos. Will you find yourself a pair? Who doesn't have a pair? Is everybody good with a pair, or do we need a trio? Okay. So if you haven't met, you might want to kind of at least share your name. And you're going to define who's person A and who's person B, okay? And so just show me the A's. Who was going to be A in the exercise? So that's the person that's going to start the exercise, okay? So you're going to have around 2 minutes to share with person B based on the picture. So you're not speaking from your rational you. I mean, obviously you're going to make sense of it because you're putting words on it, but you do connect to the picture. And if it's hard to connect to the picture, I still invite you to make sense of it, because that's actually where the potential lies. So look at the picture, and person A towards person B, you share what's really working well for you today. And person B zips. You don't say anything. But what you're going to do is you're going to pick up on the emotional field. So when you hear this person sharing something that is really meaningful to him or to her, it's about success, it's about something I'm really proud of, that I'm really happy about, just notice how many emotions are actually named as per se. And notice what's the vibe of this person when he or she is sharing something that they're really happy about. Is it clear in terms of the exercise? So 2 minutes, and you choose to share whatever you want to share. So if it feels uncomfortable, you don't want to go too personal, that's completely okay. But just notice how much you want to step into the exercise or not. Okay? So 2 minutes, off you go. Enjoy your little conversation. Sorry?
Do you want me to pick up the cars when they're...
They'll still need it afterwards, so we're good. Okay, time's up. So person A, who just shared the story, just notice how you felt sharing the story. Be aware of what you chose to share and how it felt sharing it to maybe somebody you've been meeting for the first time today. Person B, notice what emotions came through in terms of the drivers of this story. How did it feel to hear something like this? And what did you pick up that maybe was a mismatch or completely in line with what was shared? And now we're going to do it the other way around. So person B, you're sharing from your perspective, meaning from your card, what's really going well for you. And you have 2 minutes. Enjoy. Okay, time's up. So same thing, notice. Person B, just notice how it felt, what came up, how much you connected to your picture, how much you could make sense of it, how much you could share from an emotional perspective. Does that really show this how you feel? Could you make sense of it? And person A, how much did you pick up on the emotions? Meaning really emotions named. And you might know that the emotional literacy level of us as human beings is actually very low. We are not taught to talk about emotions. And nowadays, we already know, this is research-based, there's a lot out there in the field of emotional intelligence. It is crucial. It is more important than the IQ, especially when we're aiming in the leadership perspective. So just be aware, how much can you name in terms of emotions? Can you go beyond, I'm happy, I'm sad, I have joy, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm jealous, I'm upset. Can you go beyond that? And how can you have the nivelations, the levels of emotions? So that was the first little exercise. And what you're going to do now is going to basically say goodbye to your super cool card that was actually showing what you were successful, and that's how you made sense of how you're being successful through this card. And you're going to exchange it with your partner. And you're going to give your card to your partner. So you say goodbye to your card. You're going to let go of your card. And you're going to find a new partner. So I suggest that one person stays where he or she is seated and that the other one moves around. So you're going to go and meet another person. And please do change, because I notice you girls are staying together. So one of you stays, the other moves on. So find a new partner, say hello if you've never met, which probably is the case. Do you all have a new partner? Are you changing? All good? Okay, so now you should have a new partner. So why are you alone? Because that was... did he leave completely, or is he coming back? Do you know? You're not... Okay. So what you'll do is you're just going to join in to the trio there, if you don't mind, for a second. And then you're going to be self-managing the time. Okay, so what we're going to do now, so you have a new card, and notice that this card was the card of a other person who was sharing what was really going well for them and how they felt in a really probably positive way. And the next exercise is, from this card, you're going to have to remove what was shared with you previously, and you need to make sense of what is not working for you. So making sense of what's not going well for you. What in your professional environment is not working well. And you're going to have, again, A and B person. So just define who's A, who's B, and then you're going to have a C there. And person B this time is going to start sharing. So person B will share, and you have really 2 minutes. You know the drill. The other person, you don't say anything, and you just pick up on the drivers. What is there that you feel, oops, that doesn't feel comfortable, or that maybe doesn't feel comfortable to them, but I'm not feeling it. Just notice the level of empathy or not that you can pick up. Okay? So 2 minutes sharing what's not working well for you. And let's see what stories come up. Person B shares to A. So you guys will have to do a bit shorter, and then just make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak, okay? Okay, time's up. So same thing, notice, because if you're from the same industry, the challenges that are shared, how much can you relate to these challenges? How much are they different? How much are they actually named in the same or in a different way? What's the impact of whatever challenge or whatever is not working for you? What comes up, and how can you see similarities or differences with your line of business? Same thing, now the other way around, it's just person A that's going to be sharing. And so what's not working for you in your business currently? What's happening? What's getting in your way? And again, making sense of it from this picture to support your story. 2 minutes for you. Enjoy the conversation. Okay, time's up. So just notice what are the emotions that were named or felt. So just also notice the difference between the emotions and the feelings. Notice how they're labeled. Notice how they land when the story is shared, especially if you can relate to the pains, to the frustrations, to the struggles of the other person. Just notice how it maybe activates something in you. If you haven't felt something similar, because the story doesn't resonate necessarily, just notice how much you can still be soaked in or not by the emotion. We still have another round, so you're going to again change the card, and here obviously you get the card that you haven't had from the three of you. So you say goodbye again to this card that was the basis of what's not working well for you. You have a new card and you're going to find a new partner. So again, one person stays where they are and then the others move on. And I just suggest that one of you moves on also, or two of you, just to change a bit, so that you find a new partner. So maybe two can change here so that one comes here and one goes Okay? So everybody has a pair, or maybe a trio if needed. Okay, so now, let's go back to your intention. What was your intention when we started today? So I ask you to think about an intention, something that for your business you would really like to see happen, something that would be really useful to be put into place. It might be a project, it might be a client, it might be landing a deal. Whatever that intention is, notice how you feel about that intention. When you were asked to set the intention, how did you choose to go with that intention? Why is that intention important to you? And maybe what's not going to happen if your intention doesn't come true? So all these questions, just to have them a little bit in the back of your mind, and connecting to your new card. This is actually your bonus card. So if you could dream big and wild and everything is possible, what is one thing that you become really aware of now when you look at this card, when you connect it to your intention? It might be a call to action. It might be some sense of accountability. It might be an invitation to reach out to somebody. You will know, I'm hoping, when you make sense of it through the card. And we're going back to A's and B's. So 1A, 1B, and this time person A, you start sharing again. And so what's the bonus? What's your bonus card? Knowing that you can really dream big. There are no limits. The mind is our limit. So if you could really let go and do whatever it takes to get your intention on track, speak from the card and see what comes up. Enjoy your conversation. 2 minutes, a bit more here. Okay, time's up. So person B, just notice, how much does that dream big feel to you? So without being judgmental, just notice, what are dreams for others? What are bonuses? Knowing that that's an intention, we can guess that if it's an intention, it's important to the person. And person A, just notice, how much did you step into playing the game? How much did you really stick to sharing this bonus? How much do you speak from your heart? How much did you speak from your head? How much did you want to make sense of it so that it lands and sounds cool? Or how much did you really speak about it from, it's really, really important to me, and this is why I want it to happen. It's connected to a bigger purpose. It's connected to my being. It's connected to who I am. And if I make it happen, I'm going to feel something. What's that something? What do I want to feel more of? And what do I want to feel less of? Same way, switching. So now that person B has some additional hints, person A, just notice how much of that will be brought into the story. How much can you pick up? What are the sensors that you'll be using? So 3 minutes, the other way around. Enjoy your conversation. Okay, time's up. So same thing, notice. See how much you picked up. See how much you connected. See how much you shared. And now I'm going to ask you, what were some of the emotional drivers throughout this little exercise that you could pick up on? What were some of the emotional drivers that you could pick up? Frustration. Stress.
Wanting to have clarity. Oh, all right. So frustration, stress, looking for clarity, finding their way of the workspace.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Who else picked up? So, what else could you pick up in these stories?
Devotion to work. So that's
Yeah. So devotion.
Yeah,
I'm guessing passion. Then
yes,
also
definitely
behind
from
it.
cuts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
Also realization. By having Maria asking one or two questions, I realized a lot of things that they were there. So all these emotions that people have talked about, they're right, but also a realization. Sometimes the answer is so near.
Cool.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. Cool. So it's also about sharing, right? And here I'm guessing that you had a good hearing partner who could, by curiosity, tune in and then ask the right question.
We'll be going to all the sessions together.
Okay, cool. So these drivers, if we bring them back just to our environment, into your business, and thinking about what drives your customers. You know, one thing is to listen to them. One thing is also about asking them questions. Here in this exercise, well, there were some questions asked, but actually the task was to listen. It was not to ask, right? And yet, when we do ask, then we do get some answers. But the drivers, my drivers, are not your drivers. And the drivers of the people with whom you paired up today do not have the same drivers as you do. So one of the traps is to have assumptions. The other trap is to believe that my truth is your truth. And so when you set yourselves out to do what you're doing best, we also get into a routine. And then we get into a habit. And then we tend to forget to reinvent ourselves. Your customers, your clients, they want excitement probably. They want to come through and live some experience, right? And the experience that they want to live, you might have gone through it X times and heard stories about it, and then it falls a bit flat. But for some of the clients, it might be the first time that they're going to set themselves out for experiencing this. So my invitation is that through this little process, because I think that, and I hope that it worked for you, is by feeling it. If we feel it, then we can share it, right? And it's about sharing real life experiences. It's about bringing the passion, and it's also about asking people what's important to them. So, to wrap up this little process for yourselves, as part of your intention, as part of dreaming big, and speaking from the card to hopefully get to something making sense out of this process today, there's one more step. It's the accountability. What are you going to step into, or what are you going to do to actually make this intention come true? Because if we just set as an intention and we don't define what we're going to do about it, it will probably stay like a wishful thought, a nice intention, but not sure it's going to become a realization, as what was mentioned. So think about your intention, think about what you chose to share in the context of what's going really well, what's holding you back, what's not going that well, and that little dream that's out there, or that big dream, whatever you call it, that bonus card. What is one accountability that you can take? What is one thing that you want to commit to for yourselves in regards to your intention? And that's for you just to have it in your eyes, mind. And when you have defined what it is that you're going to do, also define by when you're going to do it. Is this something that can be done today, tomorrow, in a week, in a month? But put a date. Just put a specific date onto it. And then ask yourselves, what's not going to happen if I don't do this? What's the price of not doing it? And how important is this for me? Chances are that if it's so-so, you might not do it. If it's really important, you're probably going to set yourselves out to doing it. And if you feel that you need an accountability partner, then just also choose in your eyes mind who you want to invite in this process. And that namely looks like, this is what I defined to do, this is by when I defined to do it. And I'd like you to be on my back and remind this to me because it's important to me. And if you still don't know how to go about it, then it's also finding ways to move forward. And with that, we're kind of coming to the end. But what I'd like to share in terms of drivers, when we go back to the customer drivers. Customers, they want to be happy. Customers, they need to trust. Customers are looking for experience. And what gets in their way is frustration, anger, that in the end is also about disappointment, and all that leads to apathy. So then when you've kind of, oops, there's no more emotion, then it's really on the downhill. So think about, from the stories you heard today, think about the emotions that came up. What are the stories that were being shared? How much can you relate to that? And if you think back towards what you guys do, what your job is all about, have that one customer in mind and visualize that moment that you actually would want to have what we call this meaningful, emotional-driven conversation. It's not about what you want to do, but it's about what's important for you. So asking your client, what is really important for them? How would they feel if this happens? What's not going to happen if they don't do, or you as a service provider don't support them? And what is it that they really don't want to feel? And approaching these conversations, including emotions, I'm hoping that you bring your business to a next level and that you connect with your clients at a different level. So thank you for that, and good luck with everything. Thank you.